Hello everyone, friends. In this video, I will tell you how to earn money in real estate in Indonesia. That is, what types of investments are generally available here. And I think it will be useful not only for beginners in the world of real estate or for those who are just starting to take an interest in real estate in Indonesia, but also for those who are already quite experienced because there are some not so obvious things. So make sure to watch this video until the end. By the way, I will talk about the most popular type of investment in Indonesia. That is, what our clients, and not only ours, prioritize and what we most often encounter. So, the first type of earning is pre-sale. That is, the first type of investment, let's call it that. Pre-sale is when the developer announces a project even before the construction starts and sells it mainly based on images. This is how most developers operate. Probably 80–90% of such projects are present here on our island. And it is the riskiest, but at the same time, it is the most profitable, generally, because it is not always the case. At the pre-sale, which is when the zero cycle is just a picture, the price is the lowest. Then comes the excavation, followed by the construction phase, and finally, the price is the highest. This is in an ideal scenario. What are the main risks here? That is, pre-sale. A. The project may not start. B. The project may not be completed. There are a lot of risks, as you can understand. I don't know, there in Google, roughly speaking, at the initial stage, any startup is the riskiest. This needs to be understood. The most important thing here is to choose the most competent developer who will not get lost somewhere in the middle of the project or at the beginning, and who will not collect money and disappear. Next, if you have, for example, a large budget, say over $500,000, maybe $1 million or more, you can spread, of course, your eggs across different baskets and do it as correctly as possible. If you need a consultation on which projects to acquire at what stage in your specific case, feel free to write or call. I will definitely discuss everything with you along with my team. We have our own evaluation system with specific criteria, and we will definitely help you navigate this market in a way that, simply put, you won't lose your funds, because first and foremost, the main task for any investor is not just to earn, as they say, but to avoid losing. This is the primary objective. Then there is the profitability from a particular project. The second type of investment is another stage of investing in a specific developer. This is when you invest money at the foundation level. That is, some earthworks are being carried out, there may be engineering preparations, some communications are being laid, and walls are being erected. In other words, it's the initial stage. And here, the risks are roughly the same, but you understand that the project is already underway, meaning it has already started. However, the same risks are still present: unfinished construction, missed deadlines, and so on. But here, at least, the construction is already visible. It feels somewhat easier to enter this space from a psychological perspective. But the risks are the same. The increased profitability remains. Yes, it is no longer at its maximum, but it is about 10–15% lower than in the case of a pre-sale, when you are buying only based on pictures. In general, at all these stages, it is necessary to assess the potential of the complex, what goals you are pursuing, how well it will rent out, how easy it will be to resell, what the competition will be like, and to analyze neighboring properties. There are many various factors to consider when evaluating a particular property. And as they say, there are two paths. There is no third. Either you turn to qualified specialists who advise you on this and explain the pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses, the specifics and so on. Make an independent assessment of the profitability of this property necessary, because developers often significantly inflate the profitability of their properties. Well, that's understandable because, as they say, every sandpiper praises its own swamp. The same applies here. That is why you either turn to a qualified specialist or a company that deals with the analysis and selection of real estate. If you contact us, we can analyze your property, for example. That is, if you have chosen a particular property, we can easily weigh the pros and cons. And we don't always discourage someone from making a purchase there. No. To be honest, there are a lot of projects that have problems, and serious ones at that. The more I immerse myself, The more I delve into all of this, so to speak, into the documentation, permits, contractors, who builds how, what the prices are for this, for that, and so on. I clearly understand that when communicating with different people, so many nuances about other projects come up. Well, about various projects. Let's not talk about them now, just about this one. It's not that few people know about it. Practically no one knows about it. And people come in, by the way, I need to call one client today. She called recently and said, I want to invest in such and such project. I didn't even know that nuance because I knew there were some details, but now I definitely know. I met with a person yesterday, and now I know for sure that there are serious problems in that specific project. Although no one talks about this anywhere at all, I will definitely tell her about it. Great, it just came to his mind. He reminded himself. So I need to remember what her name is because many people reach out every day. All right, well, that was a small lyrical digression. There are many nuances, my friends, and believe me, you either need to be a professional yourself, meaning you have to figure everything out with me, yes, from start to finish, and become, so to speak, a real estate specialist, a real estate broker, or turn to a specialized agency. There is no third option. That is, if you buy real estate in Indonesia without understanding anything and without consulting any specialists, what can be said? This guy was one of those, as they say. So, in my opinion, it's just foolish, to be honest. Next, what other options are there for earning money in real estate in Indonesia, perhaps? Let's say, for instance, or perhaps buying and selling a plot of land. That is, you buy a plot of land, and in a year to a year and a half, it appreciates by 25 to 30% if you buy it wisely and then you sell it. There are plenty of schemes where you can optimize your tax base, meaning you can minimize tax deductions and earn maximum profit. To be honest, you can easily achieve around 20-30% per year. This figure is quite realistic. For example, you buy a plot of land for $1 million, and a year later you sell it for 1,300,000. Yes, this is a real case. There is even a more interesting case, but we won't talk about them right now. Just believe me, it's all real. What are the risks here if you buy and sell land plots? First of all, you might not guess the location. The location must be promising, meaning you shouldn't buy where everything is already developed, and there is no growth in infrastructure or interest from people to come there, and so on. It is important to understand this. The second risk is the price. If the price is inflated, even if it is the average market price, you will earn little from it. In other words, it won't be very interesting for resale. You need to look for undervalued prices. These can be foreclosure auctions, they can be urgent sales, it can be anything, like some purchases through locals. Yes, that's it. In this, we help you with everything. It's not a problem. It all depends on your request. And what are the risks here? Well, the risks are that the land may not increase in value. You see, specifically, your plot may not appreciate in value if you did something wrong. Well, let's not dwell on this too much. This is not the most popular way to earn money in real estate. If anyone has any questions, feel free to write in the comments or to me. My phone is on the screen and also in the first pinned comment. Next. Self-construction. That is, if you bought a plot of land and decided to build, this is also a way to earn money, and many people do it. Over the past year, there have probably been more than 120 developers in total. There are currently 150, 170 on the island. That is a huge number of developers, an enormous amount. Small, medium, large. Large, again, by Bali standards. And here, you need to understand the risks involved in self-construction. Of course, this is a more profitable business than investing in someone else's construction because there is added value there, and you do not earn on that added value, as the developers are the ones who profit from it. You earn from the price increase, conditionally, a maximum of 30-40% over the entire construction cycle from start to finish. In the case of construction, if you are building yourself, taking into account the installment for the land, considering the involvement of direct buyers and investors, and given that this is a high yield, quite high yield business, you can earn 3 to 5 times your invested capital. For example, an investment of 500,000 can easily yield 1.5 to 2.1 million, and you can easily earn 3 times that, really easily. And what are the downsides here? Well, we listed the advantages. The downsides are that you still need to control this process. You need to find a crew there that will build this for you, because there are really a lot. But it is important to understand that they are not all. Far from everyone builds properly and with quality, and even those who say that they are ready, they need to be checked. You need to visit their properties, see what they have built, how they built it, and how it performs after 2 to 3 years. That is, there are also many nuances. It is also necessary to choose the concept wisely, meaning not only the plot of land, but also the concept of the complex. I assure you, in 1.5 to 2 years, Bali will be filled with all sorts of junk, built on 10-20 acres that nobody will need. This is the plain truth. There will be townhouses or villas, and there will be plenty of them here, and they will not pay for themselves at all. That is, the return on investment will be 5% per year. That's the annual percentage, I mean. I again say that in most cases it will be like this, but there will of course be some interesting individual projects where we see cool architectural solutions, great infrastructure solutions, and excellent management solutions, just to name a few. To summarize everything I've said about interesting projects, there is a lot of junk in Bali, and there will be a small percentage, maybe 10 to 15%, of good interesting properties that will be in demand, filled, and have good returns, but you also need to learn how to build them. You understand? In other words, it is necessary to develop a great concept with the team, create a well-structured payment plan, find investors, and so on. Again, it's important to find a good promising plot in a good location. And it's not easy. It's really work, just so you understand. We can also help you with this, that is, with our team. If you have the desire to build something, just go ahead. Contact us, and we will find a plot of land, find a contractor, and manage all processes turnkey. For a percentage, for example, 70 to 30, you get 70% of the profit, and we take 30. We can handle sales, contracts, and legal matters, such as construction permits, and so on. We can take care of all of this. But it is important to understand that if you go into this on your own, without any preparation team, it will not be easy. This will be, frankly speaking, difficult, but yes, you will earn more money. That's a fact. Well, this experience will be for you. It's not a fact that it will have a positive ending, but the experience is certain. The next way to earn money is through subleasing. So how does this work? Simply put, you rent a villa for $10,000 a year, spruce it up a bit with some cosmetic improvements for $2,000 to $4,000, and then rent it out for $20,000 to $25,000 a year. Go for $20,000 to $25,000 a year for $20,000 to $25,000 a year. Typically, these are ready-made villas that already have a rental history through booking, through Airbnb, with clear occupancy rates and understandable profitability, located in a good area. And here it's all simple. Pros, a small budget. Quick return on investment. What else? A ready-made business, in fact, meaning that the villa already has a certificate, ownership rights, a pondok wisata, and permission for rental. Typically, there is already a management company that manages this villa. Essentially, it is a fully prepared business for rental. And here, the biggest risk is that you might simply misjudge the rental price. That is, you can do everything, but it may not be possible to rent it out for a higher price. This can also happen. But again, you need to turn to professionals here to get a market assessment, so they can tell you that yes, it is possible to rent in this area. You need to have a little understanding of what is really in demand, meaning the view, location, and so on and so forth. In other words, you still need to either be a professional yourself or turn to specialized agencies that are already professionals in this matter. Among the advantages, I have listed everything. The most important ones are the low budget, a ready-made business, and quick payback. But the downside is that you won't be able to easily scale it to an income of $200,000, $300,000 a year. It's very difficult. it turns out to be a full-fledged business. And if you do it yourself without resorting to the help of any agents or agencies, then let's say it's really a job. Those who are here permanently and want to use this as their main source of income, as they say, just go for it. But if you are, for example, a remote investor who has various investment portfolios in different countries' real estate, this is not for you. And one more way to earn money in real estate, which I didn't mention before but we'll discuss now, is when you buy a new building, either at the mid stage or at the final stage of construction. Among the advantages that I would highlight for such investments at the mid or final stage is that you are investing in a clear and transparent story, meaning that the property has either been completed or is about to be completed, which reduces the risks. You understand how it will look, meaning it's not a cat in a bag. One of the downsides is that you earn less, of course, because in construction from the zero cycle, you typically earn more. Of course, there are developers who sell at the final stage for the price from the zero cycle, but there are still quite a few of them. We are currently talking about the overwhelming majority, about mass stories, and most often, at the initial stage, the price is lower than at the final stage. You also need to understand that when you are buying a nearly finished property, meaning at some final stage of construction, you have much less choice. You are unlikely to be able to resell it for a higher price, meaning the delta is very small. Therefore, you are left with only one option, passive income. And now we smoothly transition to the most popular type of investment. In real estate in Indonesia, there is pre-sale or excavation, where you can still choose, meaning you have both the potential for value growth and the option to flip, allowing you to resell at the completion stage or exit the project at an intermediate stage. Moreover, it is not necessary to invest all your money. You can, first of all, diversify your investments across different properties if you have a large budget, which I always recommend doing. Secondly, by investing 50%, you can actually earn the same amount, roughly speaking 50% of the value. It often happens that when you enter into an installment agreement, if we talk about annual profitability, you can actually earn 50% and sometimes even more, depending on, as they say, the specific property, how much the initial payment is, what the payment schedule is, and when you plan to exit from there. But in any case, the most popular type of investment, as I mentioned, is pre-sale or PIT. Why? Because people can choose what they want to do with this property later. They can either resell it at some stage of construction or choose the second option, to wait and see for 2 to 3 years, for example, what return it brings, whether it actually delivers the promised 10 to 12% annual return, and if it does, they can keep it as a pension fund. And the second option is that they can resell it, and it won't lose any value at all, basically. It will hardly lose anything. If it's a decent property with normal returns, anyone will buy it. Not only from the CS, but from anywhere in the world. Because ready-made properties sell easily, providing good returns. They sell easily, and citizens of Europe, America, and Australia buy them with pleasure. So, in this video, I talked to you about the most popular ways to earn money in real estate in Indonesia. If you have any questions, feel free to write or call me on WhatsApp. My phone number is on the screen, as well as in the first pinned comment. If you want to know something, feel free to write to me directly or leave a comment. I will definitely respond to every comment. Well, that's all from me. Wishing you all goodness, good luck, plenty of money and health to you and your loved ones. Goodbye, everyone. Song.